Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. Today we're doing an unboxing, overview and some testing on the ASUS AMD Radeon RX 6750 XT. This is the dual edition that's been kindly sent out by Scan. Big thanks to those guys. They're a UK retailer that sell anything and everything to do with components. If you can't buy it from their site, it's not worth buying. So if you are in the market for any new components, then check them out down below. I'll leave a link in the description box. They've sent this out for me to use with the 7600X from AMD, and I actually wanted to do something a little bit more AMD because we've looked at AMD processors and things on the channel, but we've not actually covered an AMD graphics card as of yet. So I did want to do something a little bit different so it's not all NVIDIA all the time. So here we are. So the dual is one of Scan's hot sellers. It's often on sale and cheaper by about £80, if not more so, than the other ones that are in the category of the 6750 XT. So that was one reason I wanted to look at it, because a lot of people will be looking at it, and also it's a better value for the build that we're going to be doing soon as well. So let's cover some specs of it. Let's just have a little look on the back. So core clock for this card is 2512 megahertz. You've got a boost clock of 2618. There's 12 gig of GDDR6 memory. And as I mentioned, this is also the overclocked version from the factory. A little bit of a spoiler, I did actually unbox it already, but I left all the pills on there for us to look at. I did actually check this when it arrived. It's got one of those packages that kind of has the cling wrap that holds it in place. Underneath that, we've got a little booklet about setting up, and you also get one of the playing cards as well for the dual. And there's some warranty information and a little thank you note in there as well. And here we have the 6750 XT Dual Edition. So first and foremost, you might notice that it's a lot taller than most cards. You generally see like three smaller fans. These have got 95mm fans. You've got two of them, of course, as you can tell. These are ASUS's Axle Tech fans, and they also have a smart mode where the card is under 55 degrees, they won't spin up. So that's going to help keep your rig nice and quiet. So let's have a look at the pills. So if we look on the top, we can see the nice fins. This is a 5 heat pipe arrangement. There's two 8-pins for power. If we go to the end, you can see all those heat pipes there as well. There are some screws if you wanted to add a brace for a little bit less sag. You see that heat sink on the underside there as well. If we go to the top when it will be in your system, we've got a nice back plate. This has also got a peel on it. Let's just do that. There we go. That is actually a very, very nice brushed aluminium or aluminum. I do like the two-tone actually. So if we go to the back with our I/O, we've got 4 options here. So we've got 3 display port and 1 HDMI and the final peel. I will put all the screen resolution supported on the screen as well for anyone that's wondering. Oh, there's actually some more pills on the fans. There's more shine on those logos than the rest of the card, but it does give it a little bit of a different look. So going back to what I said about the design being a taller one than sleeker and longer, I'm just going to do a quick measurement so you can see just how big it is. So including the back plate, it's 153 millimeters. And if you exclude the bracket that's going to be, used no matter what, you've got about 31mm additional height. Including the shroud on the other side, 295mm long. So another little thing to mention, there is a performance mode and a quiet mode switch. We're going to want to go full chat, so we're going to leave that on performance mode. Also handy though if you want to update the BIOS, because you do have 2 options. So I think all we can really do now is get this into a system and see how it performs. I'm going to use the same system as I tested the 3080 with, so it's 12900K on the Z690 Hero. That will keep everything the same, so if you want to compare to that, you can do. 3080 is a little bit more expensive, but if you are debating those 2 cards, then hopefully this video will help. Okay, so first up, we're going to go for Shadow of the Tomb Raider. We've got a run of average 112 frames. That's not too bad actually. I was expecting it to be less than that, so I'm actually pretty impressed by what it's done so far. Price-wise, this is, I guess, a mid-tier card with today's prices. That's certainly a higher FPS than I was going to expect to get at this price point, so that's a plus, I think. So Apex Legends, I just need to say that I have turned off the frame limiter that's on by default. So it's in the Steam settings. There's a run command that you need to input to go over 144 frames. We're sitting around 230 frames, so pretty good actually. It is worth remembering that this is just straight out of the box settings as well. There's no AMD specific settings that I've turned on. This is literally what you can expect taken out of the box without playing around with anything. So something to consider. But we're on to Crisis now. It's a little bit buggy, so generally setting around 85 to 90 frames for this high preset, which isn't too bad at all really. But again, you can always turn the settings down if you want to get 120 frames if you have a certain refresh rate monitor, for example. So on to Valorant. This is on a high preset again, everything maxed out as high as we possibly can go, 1440p. Anything you do on Valorant though, even at high settings, you're not going to see anything less than 250 frames. So, you know, whatever you're doing on this game is going to be really nice and playable, buttery smooth, especially if you've got a VSync compatible display. Okay, so on to Dirt 5. This is a Playgrounds game. We always do a random one. Now this is on the highest of settings again. Only problem is FrameView is not liking this game. I think it's a compatibility thing with AMD and then NVIDIA software trying to run over the top. But however, I can tell you this is utterly butterly smooth. Other brands are available. So again, if you're running a 120Hz monitor, even 144 if you want to drop the settings down a little bit, and you're going to have no worries and you're going to have a very enjoyable gaming experience. So there we go guys, not all of the benchmarks that I wanted to run, but we've got the baseline ones that we generally do in each PC video, so you can go back and compare if you want to. I also did do a TimeSpy 3D Mark run as well, which I'll put on the screen now. I think it was about 13,400, something like that. But I am very pleasantly surprised with the performance from this card, especially that it's one that's, you know, a hot seller, or the more affordable ones of these 6750 XTs that Scan do sell. So yeah, it has certainly exceeded my expectations. And also, just quickly, I do love the little subtle RGB that's on there as well. Just a very, you know, understated bit of RGB rather than flashy in your face. It does look very classy. If there are any other games or benchmarks that you'd like results for, then do let me know and I'll try my best to get those done and add them in a comment down below. I did run out of time today for testing, but I got the, you know, the baseline ones done. But I'm sure there are some out there that people would like to know the results for, so do let me know in a comment if you are one of those people. But I think overall, I am very impressed with this card, and I will be doing further settings and tweaks and things like that in the build that's coming up, rather than just straight out of the box settings. So get subscribed and ding the bell so you don't miss that video. I'll be up very soon. And of course, a big thank you to Scan for sending out the card for me to look at in the first place. They've been incredibly supportive over the last, I think, 14 months or so, and they've given me a lot of opportunities that otherwise wouldn't have to look at these kind of products. So thank you team, it really does mean a lot to me. So thank you all for watching guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll leave the link to the 6750 XT in the description box if you want to pick one up. Any other questions or comments, then do leave them in the comments box below and I'll get back to you. Thank you all for watching, stay tuned for the future content, and I'll see you all in the next one.